Alright, I've got a new video for you today called Holding On or Holding On. Holding on equals getting old. This is getting old. How many times do you say that in your life, or have you said that around certain issues? Well, we're going to explore that this is getting old and explore our own aspect in the physical body of getting old and what I think that relates to. Your daily life gets old and worn out. The same mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual patterns day in and day out. In an effort to preserve life, we suffocate it. So we hold on to life, trying to hold on to money, trying to hold on to relationships, trying to hold on to this and that as a sense of security, out of fear, out of doubt, out of worry. And by doing that, we prevent or limit our ability to create what we really want, because you have to let go of the old to let the new in. And we're going to look at that a little bit further. Lungs and colon. In traditional Chinese medicine, the lungs and colon are yin and yang partners. The lungs are yin, the colon are yang, and they're brother and sister of one another. And you're like, how do those relate? They're like far apart from one another. Well, they relate in ways that are kind of unseen. They both relate to air and metal as far as mineral absorption goes. On a mental, emotional, and physical level, the lungs are about letting in the new, and the colon is about letting go of the old crap we no longer need. And my study since for a long time now has been about looking at the mental, emotional, and how they are woven into the physical and vice versa. So we're going to look at that today, especially around the lungs and colon, and why holding on causes, or what kind of, a little bit of the diseases that can be caused, or dis-ease that can be caused by holding on, and explore some of those things today. When you hold on, eventually you lose the ability to let the new in. Sometimes the collateral damage of not being able to let go leads to allergies. We become allergic to life. And this has just come to me recently. I've started calling the negative things, what we perceive as negative in the body and in our life, as collateral damage. Collateral damage caused by the mental emotional patterns. So if you look at it that way, not that the body is fighting against us, not that reality is fighting against us, but looking at what's going on with your body and what's going on with your life and in your physical world, your surroundings, as collateral damage caused by going back to the root cause of mental emotional patterns. So rigid is being stuck. When we can't let go, we become rigid. Remember, the body is your consciousness made physical. Another way of saying that is your body is the manifestation of your thoughts and feelings. Your body is your thoughts and feelings made flesh, made whole. If your mind and emotions are rigid, your body will follow suit. And I'm going to give you an example of this related to the overlapping of the mental, emotional, and the physical. And basically the mental, emotional, and physical are the three dimensions of the exact same thing. It's like height, width, and depth. They're used to describe something in 3D, but they're all related to the same thing. So your mind, emotions, and body really are at the root one very specific thing. They're tied together. You can't have one change in one area without having a change in the other. And that goes for negative as well as positive. So if you're trying to affirm something and have something positive happen in your life and it's not happening, then you're out of sync on one of the levels. And it's up to you to find out what the levels are that are not in sync. Because if you think something and you have a really strong shift in your consciousness or your emotions, the mind and the body, the emotions and the body should follow suit, because they're all one thing. I'm going to go on a little tangent here. Not that that's surprising, but I didn't make a slide for this, but I'm going to bring it in. There are, 7 chakras. Most people know about the 7 chakras, but there's also what are called dantians, which are energy batteries in the body. We have one in our lower abdomen, we have one in the heart area, and then we have one in the mind. And they're separated. The diaphragm separates the lower dantian, which is associated with the physical, and the middle one, which is associated with emotions, circulation, things like that. And then we have the throat that cuts off the mind from the heart. Ideally, to become a unified being, we are to work to unify all 3 of those dantians, all 3 aspects: the mind, the heart, and the body to be a whole integrated being, you should blend those together. And when they're fully blended, when they're completely blended, when you have a mental thought or an emotional happening, the changes are across the board. So right now we're in the process of becoming unified beings. Right now we're split. Some people call that dualistic. I like to use the word polarized, because it's like we can't get our two sides to meet completely. And that's part of what we're doing here in this life journey, is working to unify that within ourselves. So we are no longer mind, body, and heart. It is one complete unit, and that one complete unit is spirit. Back to the thing. Illness equals stuck mind and emotions. I've spent most of my awake time, AD, studying the mind, emotions, the physical body, energy, and spirituality, and how they are connected and express one another. So think of BC as before consciousness, asleep, half awake, dead. AD is after duality, once you start to wake up. Not that I'm fully awake, but each time I work on my own self and expand and try to blend my mind, heart, and emotions together, the more conscious I become. Just like the people that are watching this video, I guarantee you're more conscious than the average person out there, because you're expanding and pushing on the realm. Otherwise, you'd never be drawn to even look at this video. There are tons of examples, but I'm going to give you one related to lungs and colon. I'm going to give you one example of how the mind affects the body and the emotions affect the body, so that you can really see that the physical body, your physical manifestation, is literally an expression of your thoughts and feelings. No poo equals no kong chi. Kong chi is the chi that comes in through the lungs and gives life to the body. The consciousness pattern of holding on. So I'm just going to kind of hypothetically throw this out there and give you an example of some consciousness thoughts, which thoughts lead to emotions, and then the physical patterns that can be a result of those particular thoughts. This person is saying to themselves, I'm afraid to let go because something bad might happen. I don't want to do what I'll have to do to move forward. And think about movement, since we're on the conversation of colon and the large intestine colon, about peristalsis. Peristalsis is what causes the large intestine to move. It's like a muscular contraction within the large intestine that pushes the poo out of you. So if you're afraid to do what you need to do to move forward, it's like you freeze the peristalsis in your own colon. The physical patterns created, or the collateral damage created from the consciousness pattern. This is just one of many different examples, because everybody, you could have 10 people having the same mental consciousness issue, but they're going to manifest it in slightly different ways. So here's a person afraid to let go, and because they're afraid something bad might happen, they're also saying they're afraid to do or not wanting to do what they need to do to move forward. So this is what the physical body will mirror back to them. There will be so unable to let go mentally and or emotionally, the physical body starts to hold on to things. It becomes too toxic. Over time, this interferes with the absorption of nutrients, and eventually you become allergic to the air you breathe and the food you eat. And this is actually known, documented, real medicine. That when your colon gets caked with fecal matter and all kinds of things that you have digested properly, and they start to get stuck along the colon, you start having a problem absorbing nutrients, because there's this stuck matter on the intestine and you can't absorb what you need. On top of that, you begin to become allergic to those things that are in your colon, because the body's saying, I have too much of this, I can't get rid of this. So what happens is, when you start to eat those things or breathe those things in related to what you have in your gut, then you reject them, and that's what we get as an allergy. So if you cannot let go and clean your colon out, and this goes to mentally, if you can't let go and clean your mind out, then you begin to not be able to take so much in. Think about it. If you're worrying, thinking about something, you can't let something new in. So the more emptied out you are, the more flexible you are too. And this is a known fact. When your colon is emptied, you are more flexible. Physically flexible. When your colon has got some fecal matter in it, especially if it's a bunch of old fecal matter, you'll become more rigid. So the rigidity has to do with what's stuck in your mind, your emotions, and your physical body. So did you poo today? A popular topic among the elderly is pooing. They know that pooing has a lot to do with their overall state of health in mind and body. So when you're pooing on a regular basis, your mind feels clear, your body feels clear, and it's very important. You don't want to wait till you're old to start worrying about pooing, though, because if you wait till then, it's almost too late, because the damage that is caused by that collective stuff that you let in your body, it's like sometimes it gets to a point where it's hard to turn around this huge ship. You know, it's like, get it now, start changing it, and actually by changing it now, you will actually age slower, and I guarantee that. If you're clearing and letting things go, another in mental emotional, it's like forgiving, letting things go. If you're doing that on a regular basis, you move more through life. You're less attached to the back of your life, your past. You're focused forward. You're moving, and you're more alive. The more restricted you get, the more holding on to the past, holding on to old poo in the body, the quicker you age, and I guarantee that. So if you start letting go now, you will not age as fast. I've already said that. I want to give you one more example, because this has been in my consciousness in a couple of sessions I've been doing in different ways, and it relates back to me in a change I've been focusing on and changing myself. So here's a consciousness pattern. This person is thinking, I can't slow down and relax. I have to get things done. Only lazy people relax. I've got a lot to do. I don't have time to slow down and smell the roses. That's in the mind. But the body is going to totally, remember, the body is literally the physical manifestation of your thoughts and emotions, period. That's it, okay? Not only that, it's also as far as ancestral DNA things go, it's also the manifestation of your ancestors too. So the physical pattern created, or the collateral damage created by the thoughts that I said, I can't slow down, I have to get things done, only lazy people relax, I can't slow down and smell the roses. Some of the problems that can come around by that is the mind cannot relax. So it stays in a state of worry and anxiousness. This blows the stomach meridian, because the stomach governs thinking. Because remember, think about it, your stomach chews up food. When you think about something, you're chewing that thing up so you can digest it. When this person eats sweet things, they can't fully digest their food, because the mind is saying, I can't slow down and smell the roses. I can't slow down and enjoy my life. Their pancreas doesn't or can't slow down and digest the sweet things in life. So the body is unable to get the nutrients, the good from the food. So the pancreas is harmed by this thought because it can't slow down and enjoy sweetness. So if your mind is saying, I can't enjoy the sweet things in life, your body follows suit. And that's the pancreas. The pancreas then doesn't allow the sweet things into you. You don't digest it. And then on top of that, in this particular case, the brain doesn't get the signal that the digestive system is satisfied. So it's like you're looking for something, but you can't let it in. So here you are working your butt off, pushing yourself, going through life. You can't relax and enjoy life, but that's the very thing that you're looking to do. And then what happens is you don't feel satisfied. So in the physical body, what happens is the food is stored for later because there may not be enough later, or it sends this signal. The digestive system sends the signal back out in 30 minutes or an hour that it's still hungry because it didn't absorb that. So in a case that I had this last week, this person was having some serious blood sugar issues, and they were craving carbs. So they'd eat carbs, and in a short amount of time, they would be hungry for carbs again. The bottom line was that they couldn't slow down, enjoy the sweet things, so they would take the carb in. They could be taking a bucket full of sugar in, because your body needs sugar. Your brain runs on fat and sugar. You need sugar. Carbs give you energy. So it's not about just doing this carb restrictive diet and you're going to heal. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to heal you of the problem. You need sugar, you need carbs, but you got to be able to take it in. You got to be able to slow down and do it. So this person was taking in a bucket full of sugar, but the body was only taking like a teaspoon of that in. And then it was like, I'm still hungry for the sweetness in life. I'm still hungry for the sweetness. So the body sends out that signal. He then craves more sweetness. He puts that in, but he's never going to fill that empty hole because his mind says he can't slow down to do it. You get what I'm saying? So the physical body is your thoughts and emotions made flesh. It's the word, your thoughts, made into physical reality. And we call this particular pattern diabetes. Letting go equals letting in. When you let go of the old, you make room for the new. Hoarding is holding on to the past. If you've ever been in a hoarder's house or seen the TV show, their houses are full of crap. And the house is constipated. It's like nothing is moving in there. You can't move in there. And movement is very important for the colon, like a bowel movement. If the bowel movement isn't happening, like constipation, it tells you somewhere in your mind, somewhere in your heart, you are constipated. And until you get that moving again, your physical reality will suffer. And remember, the physical, not just your physical body, but your physical environment is a manifestation. So that's why feng shui works. Feng shui works because it's a map of how your consciousness laps over your house and in your environment. So remember, the physical is our thoughts and feelings made flesh, made material. That goes for our environment as well in the feng shui of your house. So literally how the feng shui of your house is right now is a reflection of your consciousness. I can literally go in with the map, with the bagua of feng shui, go into someone's house and read their consciousness. Even if they don't even know what feng shui is or know what it's about. Because unconsciously we live and work off of certain patterns or programs that are deep inside of us. So we will actually set our houses up in a feng shui way, not knowing. But the thing is you can consciously work with the system to get what you want. But I guarantee I could walk into somebody's house that has no idea what feng shui is about and literally read where their mind and consciousness and emotions are, because it's a manifestation of that. So not only is your body a manifestation of your thoughts and emotions, so is your job, your relationships, your house, everything. Letting go equals letting in. We have a tendency to hold on to the old while trying to create a new future. It doesn't work that way. If you're trying to create a more love in a relationship, but you're holding on to the one you have and trying to make it work, you are preventing, at the very best, limiting the new from coming into your life. Affirming you have a new job while holding on to the one you have because you're afraid you'll never get the job you really want prevents you from getting it. So letting go, we get confused that letting go is losing control, but it's really not losing control. Because you're focusing on what you want, but you got to let go of the limitations you have currently. I'm just going to bring this in here. This is just a kind of a tangent again, but I'm going to throw it in here. Money equals blood flow. What if your heart started holding on to the blood coming through it? Would you prosper or would you start to suffer? I believe money is the blood of the world economy. Actually, some of the money is associated with oil, which from my perspective, oil is the earth's blood. By holding on to your money, the economy is negatively affected. Throw a little fear and doubt in the mix, and whammo, the economy blood stops flowing. Each one of us is a cell within the economy system. So what I'm trying to say here, just maybe I'm going a little too broad there, but just imagine if your heart started holding on to the blood coming from it. It would prevent the new from coming in, and we do that unconsciously. It's like we block ourselves from the new coming in, even though we want something new. We have to let go in order to receive something new. You can imagine an outstretched hand that is clasping something. And here's a person that's in front of them offering them a briefcase full of money. They first have to let go of what's in their hand to be able to get the briefcase, right? Well, we mentally and emotionally are holding on to things and unaware of it, and it prevents us from getting the new. Our fears, doubts, and worries cause us to hold on, and if you don't let go, you leave no space to receive. The heart has to be empty to receive oxygen-enriched blood. Losing control. The majority of humans are afraid to let go because they feel they will lose control of their lives, because deep down they know some aspects of their lives are flimsily held together. Here is what we have to get. Letting go is not losing control, but being willing to lose the old patterns in your life that are making you miserable. The pattern is always mental emotional. The collateral damage, physical, varies. So everything goes back to a mental emotional pattern, and the physical collateral damage, the negative aspects that are created from the mental emotional, can vary though. The problem with collateral damage is that we label them as if to own them permanently. Maybe you need to be willing to let go of your collateral damage, whether it is a label like diabetes, allergies, or cancer. Maybe it's a limiting job or an unfulfilling relationship you have to be willing to let go of. You have more control than you realize. However, you have chained yourself up with perceptions, beliefs, and expectations about yourself, people, and life in general. We usually get it backwards, especially in relationships. we wind up letting go of ourselves, our heart's desire in a relationship. So we're letting go of ourselves instead of letting go of the things that are preventing us from being ourselves, from getting what our heart needs. We have to hold true to our hearts and be willing to let go of anything we are holding on to that is holding us back or that is in the way of those desires in our hearts. And sometimes that means we have to let go of something that is in our life. And if we're afraid to let go of it, then you will never get what you want for your heart, or you'll never get it completely. So we do have control. We state what we want. We put out what we want, but then as soon as we put it out, it's like a bubble. Imagine putting all your desire into a bubble of energy and then sending it up, letting it float up to God. And then right when it starts to get out of your field, you grab it and bring it back. How in the hell are you going to get that answered if you don't, or get it back in your life, until you let it go completely? You focus on what you want, and you have to be completely and fully willing to let go of any and everything that is in the way of getting that. And that may mean a relationship. It may mean some mental thoughts, some emotional patterns. It may mean having to let go of things that you are holding on to. And the thought of that may scare people, but you have to be willing to go through that. The key. The good news is that you have the key. No one else does. Even with all I do to help wake people up, the individual has all the power. I'm just efforting to wake myself and others up to the fact that we are all living in self-imposed prisons. When you affirm something for yourself, do it just for yourself. Don't pull anyone else into it. Affirm what you desire and let it go. Let it all go so that you can receive something beyond your wildest dreams. Because here's the thing, if you don't let go, your mind can only perceive what it's learned up until now. So if you want to go beyond, to have an aha or an expanded awareness of consciousness, or expand into something in your life where you've been contracted, you have to let go of the mind. And the funny thing is, the mind is the one that's keeping you in prison to some degree. Because it's like trying to solve a problem and you need the answer that's outside of your own mind. The mind has to be open and willing to let go, to let something new into it. And we block that unconsciously, sometimes consciously. The key, to the degree that you can let go, is to the degree that you can have that new thing you crave. Can you jump without the rope, without the safety net? That's what it takes to make a real and lasting change. Jumping without the safety net, without the rope. Focusing on what you want, desiring it, and then letting go of how it's going to come, and be willing to make the steps that are coming to you. Even if it means you have to let go of something that has become an old habit, whether mental, emotional, or just physical. Sometimes that relates to, like I said, a job, a relationship, and many different things. And you have to be willing to really jump and not look back to make it to the other side. Namaste.